Hello everybody, thanks for watching. Wasn't going to make a video today, I've been taking a few days off, but we just had some very important information that came over some of the news sources, and I think I needed to address it because I know very well when these happen like this that the mainstream media, shall we say the lamestream media, and Fox and all these people are not going to report this, because when this stuff happens they never report it. But the European Union said today that if the United States didn't start paying for the war in the Ukraine, which we've already paid when Mushbrains was in office, we paid over $321 billion to Ukraine. It's over in Europe. And Donald Trump said, no, the Europeans are going to pay, because they have an economy that's nearly as big as ours. And he said, no, you're going to pay for your European wars. The United States is not going to pay any more for a European war, because $321 billion is enough. And the U.S. won't pay anymore. Now, all 27 European Union nations have only paid a little over $100 billion for a war in their backyard. And they told Donald Trump they couldn't afford it. And Donald Trump told them, you know, we're $18 trillion in debt, forget it. That dog won't hunt. You're going to have to pay for your European war. If you want to buy stuff from us, that's fine, but that's what it's going to be. You buying the equipment or whatever the Ukraine needs. And the Ukraine today said in a statement, the EU said in a statement, that if the United States doesn't go back to paying for the Ukraine war like Mushbrains did, that they were going to sell off our bonds and quit buying any more bonds from the United States, and cripple our economic system and make it impossible for us to fund our debt. So that's what happened today. In other words, they're threatening us economically if we don't pay for the Ukraine war. Well, I think it's time that the EU should be put in their place and not allowed a lot of the stuff they have been seeing. But if they do that, I'm for putting 100% tariff on anything coming from the EU. And stopping, and the UK is involved in this as well. While the UK is allowed to bring in, under the new agreement, 100,000 cars a year tariff-free, well, if the UK is going to back this, then I'm all right with putting 100% tariff on their vehicles. So I think that's what should happen. What it's turning out to be, as far as I'm concerned, is we really don't have the friends in Europe that we thought we had. And I think that we had better start making arrangements to bring those forces that we have in Europe, our armed forces, out of Europe. I think it's time that they start standing on their own 2 feet, because our military is pumping a lot of dollars into their economies just through our military alone, especially in England, Germany, and Italy, and somewhat in Spain, and the Netherlands, where we have huge amount of forces in those countries. But what that message was that came out of the EU and from the UK was tantamount to economic warfare. And if that's the way it's going to be, then I think that we have to take drastic action. All right, that's all I have for today. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.